Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, everyone. Alison. Good morning, Rodney. How was everyone today? Good to see you guys. A little bit late today, but feeling the casual December. Feeling the Christmas cheer right now. Nice and steady. Arrived in December in one piece, so hopefully you guys are having a chill December. Hey, listen, today's my last day for a live Wealth Coffee Chat. We're going to have a few best of for the year. There's a few goodies. We chose a few goodies, a few replays, and they'll sort of go out from now until about the 15th of January. Going to have a nice break. Hopefully you guys are having a good break. But big good morning to everyone. Rodney, Alison, Sean, good to see you guys. A bunch of people on now, which is awesome. Fabulous to have you guys on today. If anyone's new, if you're wandering by, hey, good morning, Trevor. Good to see you, mate. How's those Perth lockdowns going to affect you, Trevor? Gee, it's a pain in the neck, this lockdown stuff, isn't it? All over the place. But anyway, hopefully people can travel. Joel, mate, good to see you, buddy, as we go. But, yeah, if you're new, I think I did it before. Jason Witten's my name. Say hello in the chat. Tell us where you're dialing in from. There's always a few newbies here and there. Popping by, joining our mentoring and coaching program. Or maybe you're just wandering by somehow and found us in one of the social channels. Welcome along. Good to see all of you guys here. Hey, I wanted to talk today about something that's part of our strategy. Well, it should be part of your strategy at some point. Now, sometimes you have to do like a little detour to get there. Sometimes you rent, invest. But the PPR upgrade strategy, the principal place of residence upgrade strategy for wealth creation for all of us. And I don't know if anyone saw this one over the last little bit, but the good old politicians never miss a trick, eh? And I saw this and I had a good laugh. And a few people in the chat were carrying on about like pork chops about, politicians, blah, blah, blah. Hey, listen, folks, just so you guys know, these rules, these wealth rules, written by the wealthy, endorsed by the politicians, sometimes, they're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the rules per se. Sometimes getting clarity on them in this tax world is a little bit interesting, but the rules are good. We could actually use them to our advantage. And this politician, using them pretty successfully, let me tell you. And all of us, can use these rules too. PPR upgrade strategy sold a house, their home, for $25 million. Zero tax payable. Zero tax payable. Now, you and me, that is a nice day in the sunshine when it comes to making a profit, making a margin when it comes to real estate. So all of us, yeah, if you can't beat them, join them. Exactly, Alison. Australia's actually, I'm annoyed by some of the rules, but some of the legislation, but we've got some pretty good stuff. You just got to have access to it and know how to use it. And that's why a coach and advisor is vitally important. Doesn't matter who you are. You need advisors who specialize in certain things. So there you go. So how does this work, folks? How do we, as property investors and owners, now see what they've done, right? They've sold their $25 million home to buy a $35 million home. Folks, this is the classic principal place of residence upgrade strategy, tax-free to now a newer, bigger, more profitable into the future, tax-free PPR play. So how does this fit into our strategy? Let's have a bit of a look at that as we chat today. There's three parts to our wealth. I mean, you guys know the conversation that we have all the time. Acquisitions, consolidation, lifestyle, right? they are the three stages we often are in or crossing over into and out of when we are building our portfolio. So I'm not going to go through that one today. If you're new, track down one of the earlier Wealth Coffee chats about the acquisition consolidation lifestyle, and our assets go up in value and our debts go down in value. And in here is the gap of wealth and cash flow, right? That's where the money is. That's where the coin is. So what are the three ownership entities or wealth strategies that we can use in our world when it comes to ownership of real estate? Okay, ownership of real estate. And I'm going to put a fourth one in there. The stamp duty, Hayden. Well, at the end of the day, hey, maybe can someone just jump on and do the calculator online? Just go search stamp duty calculator online and do $35 million principal place of residence stamp duty. That would be an interesting chat, huh? Tell me what it was. You can get a calculator online if anyone can do it. So let's look at this. There are 4 runways. There are 4 streams when it comes to the wealth we can create. Okay, the wealth we can create, ladies and gents. Now, let's talk about what that looks like. Okay, the first one, the easiest one, the one that everyone has access to and they don't know it, even before your principal place of residence, even before your PPR, this one place of wealth is started the day you start work. Tell me in the chat, what is this stream of wealth? What is this place of wealth Jason talks about here? Tell me what it is, folks. Chuck it in the chat for me. Because there are 4, and maybe it's a trick question. Maybe you're not going to get it, but we'll see. We'll see. What is the first place? What happens when you start your job? You're 18, you're 20, you're 25. Boom, superannuation. Right, so super. It's the first wealth stream that starts. Now, many of us think it's a rort. Many of us think it's a bloody joke. You're 18 or 20 or 25. This money's coming out. And you're like, what the hell is that for? But super. It's super. But what do we know about super into the future and even when we're younger? Number one, it can be used to protect yourself and your wealth, right, when you're young. Okay, that's important. But number 2, into the future, it is tax-free in retirement. But let's do this actually. I'm going to move that down. What's the tax rate, team? What's the tax rate on money going into super? The tax rate on money into super is 15% on the way in, and it's the 10% capital gains tax, all right, or a 10% calculation, where normally it would be 25% capital gains tax. So in accumulation, when you're buying things in super, the tax treatment is really low. In retirement, when you're over 60 or whatever age you can access your super, a certain amount of that money, $1.4 million, is tax-free. Boom. Now, number 1, that's our number 1 wealth stream. Whether we understand that or not, when we're young, it starts, and the sooner and the smarter we get with that, the better off we're going to be long term. The second one, which is where most people get to. These are the 2 places people get to, right? Super and the next one, and then that's it. That's all they ever do. That's the problem. That is the problem. And what we all must understand is, how do we take advantage of each of these things that we do over our life to get the best outcome, okay? As you go. Absolutely, Hayden. Yep. You can invest in yourself. I completely agree. Invest in your own education. Invest in your understanding of financial things as you go, for sure. But just think about this. It's smart as an investor to understand where the most efficient place to create wealth is. And 2.4 million in stamp duty. Good one, Tanya. Imagine that, folks. Imagine that. All right. if you're earning 2.4 mil, at the end of the day, it becomes a capital cost too. It comes off later on, folks. Off your gain. But think about that. Think about that. You've made enough money. I'd be really interested to know what they paid for that property. Imagine. I could probably track that down, actually. Imagine you bought that for 5 mil. Now you just sold it for 25 mil. You buy a new one for 34 mil. You got to pay 2.4 mil in stamp duty. Ooh. What does the government do for that? Why do they deserve that? That really gets my goat. That gets my goat. What a bloody rort. Anyway, there you go. It's the pay-to-play system, isn't it? Okay? It's the pay-to-play system. Hey, what a bunch of rubbish that people who are wealthy don't pay enough taxes. Hey? What bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, let's not get me started on that one. All right, number two. Number two, folks. The second stream of wealth, first one is super. It happens. It's in play, blah, blah. You've got to know what you're doing. The earlier you realize, the better. But the problem is you can't use it. You can't use it when you're young, other than to protect yourself, other than to minimize your tax. Maybe it's the money's off the table. And, for most of us, we need that bloody money. We're only young. We got a small amount of income. So the second one, hey, Alexis, good to see you. The second one, folks, is the one we're talking about today. Your principal place of residence, your PPR. Now, the challenge with PPRs, they could buy a block of apartments. You're dead right, Alison. Don't know if that would impress their friends when they bring them over for dinner though. But depends on what's going on. Principal place of residence. Now we're talking, right? So what is the upside of a PPR? We've talked about this before. Your debt on your principal place of residence, folks, is a bad debt. It creates no income. It creates no tax deductions. However, it's a capital gains tax-free piece of real estate. Now, I know many people who renovate and sell and PPR upgrade multiple times. Like, I know someone who's done it 15 times in the last 25 years. I couldn't think of anything worse, personally. It's not my cup of tea. But one of the great upshots of a PPR is the sale is tax-free. Okay? Tax-free, folks. Tax-free. That is the great upshot of a PPR. So when we think about this, what would be the strategy of our principal place of residence? And we'll talk about that in a second, because that's what this is showing. I can tell you right now, these guys are probably 15 or 20 years from retirement or downsizing, not retirement, and we're going to talk about this in a second, of downsizing. And the downsizer maneuvers are a good one. So PPR, tax-free. We'll talk about that in a moment. The third one is your personal name. In your person. Now, this is where we can. This is where we have the ability for, in the world of real estate, we can get leverage. Okay, borrow at 90%. Leverage is fantastic, fan-bloody-tastic. I love leverage. Money is cheap. You should understand borrowing and leverage, and you should take advantage of it. Because at the end of the day, if you think, I'll just save more money, you cannot save yourself wealthy. Let me say that again. You cannot save yourself wealthy. You can't. You can't. Right? The moment you put money somewhere where the money doesn't keep working and moving, it goes down in value. E.g., your bank account. Money in your bank account is a losings account unless it's sitting in your offset account. Inflation's 3%. You got 0.5%. Your cash decreased in value, okay, as you go. So make sure you get... somehow I got logged out of my chat stream, folks. Give me a second in here. I think I just got a little bit spammed or bombed by a couple of chats. But if there's anyone in there, doing anything naughty, let me know. We'll see if I can get back in. 2 seconds. All right. Let me see. No, I've got my, I don't have my password built in to my chat stream in here. So hopefully everything's not getting out of control. Hang on, I'll quit the chat and I'll reopen it, see if it does it. The bugger. So hopefully everyone's listening and dialed in still. Right, we've got leverage. We've got leverage. We have, I wonder if I can enter the, let me see if I can see the chats in another space, folks. I don't know. How do I now get the live stream chat? Anyway, let's hope this is still going. All right. Anyway, listen, we've got leverage. We now can in person obviously get some tax deductions. Tax deductions, and again we get access to some sort of growth, income, wealth, cash flow, etc. Okay, with that one. These other two, these ones here are kind of like they're not right now. You can't take advantage of anything in the moment. None of that's adding value to your daily cash flow or your daily access per se, but it's for later. And then this one, is for, this is for the future. And the fourth one over here is business. I'm going to put business in there. And for the business owners sitting here on the call or the chat, we do have a $2 million business tax advantage, a capital gains tax free. It's a small business tax concession that you could sell your business or sell a property that your business owns into the future and have a capital gains tax free event. Now that's a good plan for all of us if you're in business, and I've chatted with a number of business owners in the past little bit about what that might look like. So give me 30 seconds. I'm just going to get my password up and see if I can log back into Restream. Just make sure we're not getting spammed by some cheeky buggers who are dropping by and spamming some sort of weirdo stuff in there. 2 seconds. All right, I've got Restream here. All right, copy password. Let's see if it works. I'm going to choose all the chimneys to get in. Verify. All right, looks like I'm back in. Let me know if give us a shout out in the chat, folks. And let me know if you're still here. I can see the chat now, so but I can't see the historic messages. So anyway, let me know if the chat's blown up and we didn't get spammed by a bunch of, I don't know, overseas hackers of some description. Yep, we're good to go. Beautiful. All right, Alison, thank you. So we've got these 4 streams of wealth creation as we go. We've got our super, we've got our PPR, we've got an in-person ownership. We've talked about that before. Real estate is great for in-person. And then business, there's some stuff good to go with business. So all right, let's have a bit of a look at this PPR upgrade strategy. Let's say, for example, you buy your own home worth $650, okay? And let's say you are 35 years old, okay? And let's call this PPR the downsizer strategy. Let's call it a 40-year strategy, okay? Because a PPR, folks, is a 40-year strategy, maybe a 30-year strategy, but let's talk about this. So what I love the idea of is if you can get rid of that property's debt, okay, in fast time by 50, all right? So you could then double its value. Let's say now that at this point in time is worth, call it 1.2 million bucks. You sell. The other way to do PPR upgrade strategy, if you've purchased in an area that you can upgrade, like where I live right now, I've got an acreage with multiple houses on my property, etc. And it is not the highest and best use of the land where I live right now. So my next move, my next PPR upgrade move is to significantly renovate my house. Now that's in the works. We're just going to wait probably another year now because the construction prices have gone spastic. But, come next year and the year after, we'll embark on a pretty significant renovation on my property because it's doubled in value. Okay, doubled in value, no debt, boom, away you go, upside. Okay, so let's say we got $1.2 million. So then we sell that property tax-free, and then we go and buy, call it a $2.4 million property. That depends on the debt, okay? Depends on the debt that you can afford at that point in time. So now you're 50. Now let's say you can pay another $1 million off that because you've got a $1 million debt or whatever it might be, and you're 75 or whatever it might be. Then at this point, that property, call it $4.8 million of value. You might have $1 million of debt. Now you do the downsizer strategy. You sell that. You've got, you pay out your mill. You've got 3.8 in cash, folks. 3.8 in cash. Boom. Away you go. Buy yourself a nice apartment for $1 million, and then you've got 2.8 left over. Okay, tick in the box. And look at those numbers, and you go, "What bullshit? That's not going to ever happen, Jason." I can tell you, team, if you get this started, the earlier you can get this started, the better off you're going to be. And there is a second go at this gig, right? Because around the sort of age 60 to 65. I'm going to use the word that everyone uses, but I don't like it. The idea of retire, but you've still got plenty of time to downsize. 60, 65 is still active. You got hold of your assets. Your assets are now performing. Your assets are accelerating fast in value and wealth and income, etc. You're looking pretty good. And that retirement movement, you could unlock some super, you can unlock all sorts of things at that event, but it's not you. This is the downsize. This is the downsize event. It's kind of it's crack 2 at rearranging your situation. You might be able to do it earlier, folks, like 75. I'm just mucking around with numbers here, okay, as we go along. So, think of that. Think of how do we imagine right now you're sitting there. Imagine this right now. How do you end up doing something like this? What does it look like? Number one, you become a politician. Hey, I think a few of you guys have heard this joke before. It's not a joke, but it's real. Politicians can have 2 nominated PPRs, one in Canberra and one where they live. How's that? Hey? Tax-free. Anyway, there you go. All right, folks. Hopefully that was hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully that sparked your mind, your brain about don't miss out on the downsizer outcome when it comes to the PPR upgrade and then downsize maneuver, because it's a powerful one. It's a fabulous one. It's a perfect one. You've got to make sure you understand what you're doing and put the plan in play. It takes a bit of time. As you guys know, buy well, never sell until you have to when it comes to your PPR. And away you go. Anyway, that's it from me, team. That's it. I'm done. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Wednesday the 15th of December. Officially signing off from the lives. You guys have an awesome, amazing break. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All of those things. You'll see some best of replays coming up, folks. And, back in 2022. Most likely the second week of January. Haven't locked it in yet. But, going to have a nice little break this year and recharge, come back fired up because, hey, folks, I think 2022 is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be some interesting times and some opportunities to stay the course and make the most of creating your wealth. So have a great break, you guys. Be awesome. Be well. And this is me signing out. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted for 2021. See you in 2022. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.